say A, and that's your final answer?
Dr. Schein, let's start with the news. Lots of news about the election, who's our president, all of that. So what have you got for us today in the way of news about the election?
Well, we have something that people actually mentioned earlier this year might happen, and that is that President Trump has not conceded. The people who are supporting him not conceding the election are being blackballed on some social media sites and are being barred from providing information on an extraordinary amount of fraud in the elections that has already been documented. So it's a fascinating study of human beings being bad, basically, because the Democrats have spent 4 years disenfranchising President Trump. And now they're saying, oh, my God, it's just horrible. It's so terrible that he's not just turning the keys over. And hell, he should just walk out right now and let Joe Biden move in this week. I mean, and it's fascinating. And it's the most stunning display of hypocrisy that I've seen. And I've seen a lot of hypocrisy in the last 50 years. And I talk about some of that in my book, but this is a real gem. And so there are recounts going on in many places. I think the most significant single event is Sidney Powell's involvement. Sidney Powell, by the way, is a woman, not a man. She is a very successful and very well-respected attorney, middle-aged lady. I don't know if she's based in New York or Washington. I think she's in Washington. She's most recently been very visible in defending Michael Flynn, who was railroaded by the Trump-Russia conspiracy express, and unfortunately lost most of what he owned in life after a very distinguished military career. So she is his attorney, and she's I have the highest regard for her. And so she has openly announced that there are some significant issues with the election. I think most of that is going to focus on Dominion systems, which has about 30 of the 50 states using Dominion systems. And the story, again, if you believe the story is that the machines could be programmed to flip votes for Trump over to Biden and without leaving a trace. But I don't know how that would be done. I'm not a computer person, but it is indeed a very significant allegation. And again, somebody like Sidney Powell talking about it gives it a little bit more credibility. Now, regarding the election, what's also in the news is Texas has a very visible Secretary of State. We have Dan Patrick. Dan Patrick was in his early days a sportscaster, and he has a great name, Dan Patrick. Dan Patrick also moved very quickly into conservative politics once he got some fame as a sportscaster, and he parlayed that fame into owning radio stations and into his own cable program in the early days of cable news and sports and things like that. And so in his more recent days, he is serving as the Texas Secretary of State, which is, kind of a quiet position, but he has used it as a bully pulpit to, raise his visibility even more. And so in any event, last week, Dan Patrick announced he was offering $1 million reward to anyone who could prove election fraud that resulted in an indictment and conviction. Now, that's a very high standard. So, that's kind of like people promising that if the 2-7 Houston Texans win the Super Bowl this year, that they'll give everybody $1 million. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's very interesting. And the reason I say it is because it is difficult to get someone, especially in these sketchy areas of election fraud, to get from there to a indictment and to a conviction for fraud or corruption. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But anyway, so that's what's in the news this week. I wish we had some more developments to talk about and say, we knew what was really going on, but the recounts are continuing. There's a lot of controversy about the recounts themselves in terms of whether there's observers, whether they're making any difference. I know that some of the claims have been dropped because they do not represent enough votes to make a difference. We're talking hundreds of thousands of votes. If you can't change hundreds of thousands of votes, then you need to go home and pack up your laundry and move out, basically, Mr. Trump. So let's see what happens next.
Well, actually, in Georgia, it wouldn't take hundreds of thousands of votes. It would only take 14,000. So
at the moment, Georgia is extremely close. And of course, Georgia is the most significant state in the union until January 5th because of the double. I've never seen this in my political studies. Both senators in Georgia are on the runoffs for January 5th. And now Georgia is a heavily Republican state. The lean is distinctly Republican in favor of these two candidates who are both well-financed and well thought of. One of them is opposed by some kooky alleged reverend. The other one has got a similarly weak opponent. So I'll be very surprised if the Republicans blow those two seats. Now, of course, the Democrats and people like Michael Bloomberg will be dumping millions and millions and millions of dollars into those campaigns. But and of course, Chuck Schumer famously said that when we win in Georgia, we're going to change America. That is not the thing that old Chucky needed to say, because the average American does not want defunding the police. They do not want Medicare trashed by making it available to more people than are fully qualified for Medicare. And so, and the average American is concerned about their security. And so it's pretty interesting. So that's definitely a factor.
it definitely is. So the lots of interesting stuff going on. I was thinking as you were talking that who knew that Georgia would be that important?
Absolutely.
It's a state you hardly ever hear anything about, but all of a sudden Georgia is the place to be and the place to be from. So this has been Saving America with Dr. David Schein, author of The Decline of America. Remember, the book is available on Amazon. Stay tuned. We have some upcoming specials for the weekend following Thanksgiving. So if you did not read this prior to the election, now's a great time to get your copy. And by the way, with the holidays just around the corner, makes a great gift for that person in your life that's interested in politics, in history, and several different topics. So check it out. It is on Amazon. The Decline of America, 100 Years of Leadership Failures. So talking about all the presidents from Woodrow Wilson to Barack Obama. Great Christmas gift. And again, David will be doing a webinar, and it's free to attend. And it's, David, tell a little bit about the webinar, what you're going to talk about.
Sure. We're going to talk about small business in America. Saturday after Thanksgiving has been designated Small Business in America. I believe American Express is sponsoring a special program that day. And we're going to present a free webinar of information for small businesses. We're going to talk about COVID adjustments in small business. And we're also going to talk about some hot employment issues, especially the issue of independent contractors versus employees. So it's designed to be light. And if people are on the live webcast, they will be able to ask questions.
And you have a special document that you're going to give everyone that attends, right? I think I looked at it and saw that you had thing about doing something for small business owners and something they could use. So we'll let you know more about that. If you're interested in getting an invitation and being part of the webinar so that you can ask questions, please put in the comments below your name and email address, and we will add you to our list of being invited. So, David, thank you again. Brad, thanks for joining us. We will see you next week on Saving America.
Sounds like a winner. Thank you again, Sandy.